Hey,
live.
everyone.
And I see Bree was in there first today. And then Kaz. So hello. And StreamYard is being really laggy on my, thanks Kaz, on my end. So if I'm behind a little bit, it's because StreamYard's being kind of slow. Hi, Sheila.
Hello, everyone. And thank you guys for supporting Claudia's other channel. It's really important to her and it's close and dear to her heart. So that's awesome. Yes. I know I was just browsing it before I came on backstage. That's what I was flipping through your stuff on your channel. So like, oh crap, I forgot something upstairs. I gotta get back in there. Yeah.
Yeah, I just now got part 1 of my history up. I've got the first 9 parts filmed. I'll be releasing one like every day. So, and I'm just making them little 15-minute videos. You don't have to watch them. I'm just telling my story and I'll have a history on there. And hello, Becky.
It's stuff that you see more and more. We were talking about Christmas movies and stuff, and I'm gonna digress for half a tick here, but it has to do with Claudia's channel. And I was talking about the Spirited musical with Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds that I had watched, and he comes into People World and he's binge watching stuff all night long. And Ryan Reynolds comes out and Will Ferrell looks over and goes, I think I have Crohn's disease. I think I have colitis. And he was like, stop watching that stuff. But it wasn't until I got sick that I realized, holy crap, these commercials are everywhere. So is it that I'm just noticing now because I got it, or is it because more people actually have these autoimmune disorders?
Yeah.
So which one kind of is it? Yeah. I'm going with pick B. That's my choice.
Yep.
And
if you guys are on Instagram, but you have not been watching Nikki, she's been posting these absolutely adorable little vignettes of her vintage items that she has displayed in her home. I'm loving it. So if you're not following her on Instagram, it is down in the description box below. And my second channel is also down in the description box below. So links to both of those are down there. And since it's been a while, I'm just going to go over some basics again. If you purchase an item, make sure that you email us your YouTube name, real name, your mailing address, and your PayPal email. You don't have to have a PayPal account to check out on PayPal. You can check out as a guest. Our emails are right below us. Mine, CAYE. My middle name has an E at the end of it. Make sure that you like and subscribe. Those thumbs up on our videos really help us. Subscribing to the channels that you like is free and really helps all of the creators on here. We do not get paid to be on YouTube.
Nope.
We don't get paid to be on YouTube. We don't get paid to be on Instagram. We make no money off of all of the time that we put into making content. We make nothing off of that. So liking, sharing, telling your friends about our channels and our Instagram pages, that is all wonderful. The more exposure, the more people show up, the more people are likely to buy a piece of gorgeous glass from us, and that's how we make our money. Sheila. Yep. Oh, thanks, Sheila.
Nice. And I will be getting back to doing Whatnot sales in February. I just have so much stuff that I put off for so long that I actually have to kind of get done in the house. And by then, John should have his regular schedule set up because it's like 10 to 1 and it's 9 to 5 and then it's 8 to 2. So it's nothing concrete. So in February, I'll be getting back to selling over on Whatnot. But for now, I'm trying to just, I was telling Claude, I'm taking the vignette thing started. I'm trying to fix and organize my house and take all the pieces I have in my inventory that I really, really love and kind of like, I kind of really want them. And I'm trying to put them in my house and then see what I have left over. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of the point. And because you guys inspired me by the pictures you guys sent about how you just decorate with your glass. So I'm like, you know what? I need to display my glass a little bit better than what I'm actually doing. So thank you all for doing that.
Yeah, I was able to do that last fall when I moved. reevaluate and decide what I really loved since it was a
Yeah.
smaller space and how best to display it so that I could enjoy it. And it really makes a difference when you
Yeah.
look at your items again and go, okay, I
Thank
collected a
you.
bunch of these, but how much of this do I really love? Hi, Kim.
Yeah.
You guys are
And I
all
want to
fun.
use it.
You should be.
Yes, you should be. And I want to use it. So I had one
Yeah.
vignette in my bathroom, and all of those pieces I use. So that was really important. It's not just sitting there to look pretty, it has a function
Mhm.
because
I
I'm a
have an
big fan of
apothecary jar in my bathroom with my cotton balls in it that my grandpa used to keep his
it.
cotton balls in when I was a kid.
Yep, and they all
I
have a
love
story.
that.
My apothecary jars are the landlady whose house I used to live in, who we were very, very close. She used to watch my dog. She used to watch my kids. She was an awesome, awesome human. And her brother lived upstairs from us. We were living in the house they grew up in the apartment that they grew up in. And in the basement, she said, if there's anything down there that you want, go ahead. And I found that she had the apothecary jars down there. And I said, hey, you know what? You mind if I take these? And she's like, oh, yeah, they were like my mother's or my grandmother's or something. Their grandmother used to live upstairs. So they came from this really cool family history. So, of course, it's nice when things have a backstory like that because it
Mm-hmm.
means something. Yes. Oh, good. Yes,
And
see that exactly,
uh,
Sheila. Yeah.
I think that there's probably YouTube tutorials on how to post pictures on Instagram that you could look up. I was lucky to have teenagers teach me how to do all of that stuff.
It's actually, once you learn how to do it, it is very, very, very easy to do it. There's just a little plus button. I don't know, maybe I need to make a quick little video, but there's a little plus button at the top, and you just tap that, and it asks you, do you want to do a post? Do you want to do a story? Do you want to do a reel? And you just want to do a post. And sometimes it's even easier if you do it on your computer. And I know that sounds weird, but a lot of
Yeah, and
people
the
use the computer.
story and reels, when they added that stuff, it kind of threw me. But I have been sharing other people's posts on my story. I did figure out how to do that. I don't do reels yet. Also, don't do TikToks yet, but I should.
I do the reels because I do find them fun, and they're a lot easier to do than to post like a YouTube video because I will sit and edit something within an inch of its life. That's just the way I
And
am.
I am the complete opposite. I edit nothing. You get
Yeah.
me completely unfiltered.
Because anything you see in my videos, you've seen I've got like weird little things floating through the video and music in the background. So I will edit a video for hours
Yeah,
and
I
yeah,
can't do any of that fancy stuff. Nope, it's me in front of
only
the
have a
camera.
phone.
You get what you get.
It's
Cash, I
really
do
that once you get the
everything through
hang.
my phone.
Yeah, yeah.
I do
Some people do.
everything.
I hate my phone. I'm going to say this until I started doing this, and Claudia knows this. I did not own a phone. So a year and a half ago, roughly, I did not have a phone. I refused, and people were floored by that. I'm like, why? It's not that big of a deal. Well, what happens when you go out? I'm like, I'm always with him. He has a phone. What do I need a phone for? So I didn't have a phone. And then other people were like, oh my God, I'm so proud of you. I could never have lived without my phone. I'm on social media too much. I'm like, I hate that stuff. I don't want to be contacted if I don't have to be. Just I don't. And the big thing was my mother, because my mother used to buy me all these. I finally told her stop buying me cell phones. Well, I want to be able to get a hold of you. I said that's why I don't want a cell phone because I don't
I
need you to get a
don't
hold
want
of me
you to be able to get a hold of me.
whenever you feel like it. No, 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 no. Because she was famous for that.
Oh,
But
Sheila, you could have sent
uh,
pictures. You didn't have to tell us who you got stuff from. We just wanted to see how people
yeah,
displayed their glass. Okay, so
yeah.
today we
Uh,
are going to go first. We're going to talk about
yep.
how we identify glass. So
Tips and tricks.
I'm going to walk you guys through the process of the first piece I'll have for sale today and tell you exactly how I go about it 99% of the time. So sometimes you know what something is. I mean, sometimes you
Yes,
just know. And I've said this before, but if you get the opportunity, go to your thrift store, go to your antique store, and touch the glass.
yes,
Pick it up, feel the different weights, pick up the glass at the Dollar Tree. Feel the different weights. Feel the thinness. You will start to be able to identify good glass just by touch sometimes. So I went into Goodwill, and my Goodwill was pretty empty, and I see this. It was filthy, but I see this. And I'm like, that looks like Heisey glass. And we all know, and we're talking like all of the clear glass. This is what my eye focuses in on. I'm like, that looks like Heisey glass because of the clarity. And we all know how much I love Heisey glass. But I'm not going to assume it's Heisey glass. So I buy this, I bring it home, I clean it up first. And next week we will be talking about how to clean your glass. And the first thing that I do is I do a Google Lens search. And instead of telling me what this is, it comes up with candlewick pattern. Just because of the little bubbles there, it decided to show me all candlewick. And I'm like, no, this is not candlewick. And so I move locations and I take a better picture of it. And it does come up Heisey glass, but just one picture. So I'm going to click on that and look at what it says. But because it was either an eBay or an Etsy, I'm not believing that. We've talked about this before. Just because one person misidentified a piece of glass and it's sold means that every other person on the planet can look that up and go, whoa, well, that's what that is. It's sold, identified as that. And it's not, it doesn't make it true. Doesn't make it true. I had that piece of, I don't remember what it was. Was it Anchor Hawking or something? That had been misidentified as Fenton on eBay like 10 different times, on Etsy. It was not Fenton. And Trisha was kind enough to point out that it wasn't Fenton. And then when I looked it up under Anchor Hawking or whatever, then it popped up and I'm like, oh, because there's like 50 of it under its proper identification. So I never trust eBay or Etsy because anybody can say anything they want on there. Nothing is fact checked. But look, doing the Google Lens gives me an idea of where to look. So I look at that and it says on eBay that the piece is Heisey glass and it's the Waverly pattern. And look what I own.
Books are important.
Glassware of the Depression era. Waverly. Now, they do not have this particular piece shown, but he talks about how he only has a small collection because these pieces were most often used as blanks and they were etched, which I thought was interesting. So finding the pieces without the etching can be a little bit, I'm not going to say rare, but harder to find. So this is an even better find. Now, on his listing over here, because of course he's got everything listed, and this year, let's see what year this was.
And that's Gene Florence, right? That's the Gene Florence. Anything he writes, totally buy it because he's probably the best at this.
Yeah. And we've talked about that before. We'll mention it again. Some experts that wrote a book had no idea what they were talking about. Gene Florence is a really good reference. Any of his books you'll want to pick up. And he did updated editions where he corrected himself if he got something wrong. So, but if you come over here, then you can see the two-handled bowl, 6.5 inches. And in 1993, this was worth $50. It's not worth $50 now. As we all know, prices go up and go down and go up and go down. Heisey glass, if you're collecting it right now, someday it'll go up again.
Yes.
So now I've identified it. Now I can go back to eBay and look at solds in order to price it. So then I had purchased this piece at an antique store, but it wasn't marked what it was. So I did a search on this piece. And it comes up two things on eBay. Couldn't find it anywhere else, but it comes up as either Lancaster glass, and there were, I don't know, less than 10 listings under Lancaster, and probably about 10 listings as Fenton. This is not Fenton, to the best of my knowledge. It doesn't feel like Fenton. I mean, Fenton has a feel when you've handled enough glass. Does not feel like Fenton, but I thought the Lancaster glass was interesting because they closed in 1937, and Carnival glass was either done in the very late 1800s, early 1900s, or it was done in the 1970s. And I'm like, well, how can that be Lancaster glass? So then again, I go to my books and I look up Lancaster glass, and I found this shape.
That's important. Yeah.
Lid and this shape, and it was I think it was painted yellow with black stripes, but it was this. So I can see why it got misidentified as Lancaster. I still don't believe it's Lancaster. I believe the mold was
Is probably,
purchased from the Lancaster.
and that's why it's hard to identify glass sometimes because of that.
So this one will go up for today's sale, not as Lancaster, definitely not as Fenton, because I still don't believe this is Fenton, even though there were more of this exact one
I
on
feel like
eBay listed.
Fenton and Murano, or everybody on eBay's and all the selling platforms, it's their fallback.
Yeah.
They'll say it's Fenton or Murano because it gets them more, they think it gets them more views. Yeah.
So I couldn't identify that one, but I did identify the company that the mold came from, which I thought was kind of cool, and then led me down a deep dive on refreshing my brain on Lancaster glass. So, and Lancaster was bought by Anchor Hawking, and they were never actually closed. They transitioned over to Anchor Hawking without ever closing the plant.
Yeah.
And Anchor Hawking then continued to produce glass out of there, using some of the Lancaster molds through the 60s. So that was kind of cool. But
and that could be where that piece is from. It could be Anchor Hawking wasn't necessarily known for its 70s carnival glass. It's more Indiana style, but it could totally be an Anchor Hawking piece, but a Lancaster mold.
I did look up to see if I could find it listed under Anchor Hawking anywhere, and I could not.
Yeah.
But good morning, Delbert. Well, I guess it's afternoon now. Good morning. Good afternoon. And so the other thing besides books, and I'll show you my books. We've talked about this before, but you want to look at museum websites.
Yeah.
So that's another excellent place to look. You can also sometimes find collectors who have amassed a large collection enough that they've put it online, and they have done the research and listed, and you can match something to yours and go, oh, well, that's what that is. So you can use Etsy and eBay as a jumping off point to give you an idea of what it might be. You cannot use them. Hi, Mary. You cannot use them as a definitive. This is what it is. eBay said. Yeah. Don't do that. Yeah. So most of the books that I have picked up from booths where people were going out of business. So $2 and $3 is all I picked my.
Yeah.
Now these books, I don't have a worth point.
No, I don't either. Yeah, but worth point is the same thing because they're going just eBay. By what eBay sold.
Yeah. So you can't always go by worth point either, because a lot of times those were just what people listed on eBay sold it at.
It is good for pricing, which is a whole nother topic. Pricing.
Worth point's good for pricing, but I wouldn't trust worth point.
Yeah.
Just like eBay.
Yeah.
So I picked up most of these from antique stores where someone was there. They were going out of business with their booth. So paid $2 and $3. So if you see these, I think they're always worth picking up.
Oh, absolutely.
Kitchen glassware.
And there are different editions too. So you might get one edition, like Claudia has one edition of the kitchen glass. I have another edition where some things got edited out. So sometimes it's worth it to have more than one edition. I love that.
Most of mine are glass, but I picked this one up because pretty.
Yeah.
Drum reel pottery, and
these you can sometimes come across these. I have used Bookstore by Me. You can come across them there. Flea markets will have them. Oh, that's cool. I don't have that one. Oh, I have that one.
These run for like $60 on Amazon right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you do not want to pay full price for them, you can if you keep an eye out. I picked this one up at a garage sale for like $1.
Oh, yep. I have a bottles guide. I was going to show that one too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you see them, I would definitely pick them up.
Yeah, Becky, I'm with you. I'm not sure it's worth it purchasing Worth Point unless you're. Yeah, there are some people who swear by it.
Everything.
There are other people who say, "Nah, it's not worth it." You know, because it is a little pricey. You know, when you could just go through the solds on eBay and look that up. I'm not sure it's worth it either.
So you want to make sure that the websites that you are looking up are reliable. So we recommend glass museums and things like that instead of eBay or Etsy to get a proper identification. And the other thing that you can do for a jumping off point, if you're really stumped, you can post a picture on Instagram and maybe now still do your own research. But if you really have zero idea, you can do that. And then there are people who we consider the experts, like Becky. Don't take advantage. And she gets asked 50 million times a day about something. So don't take advantage of the experts who we consider the experts, because we think of Becky as a Fenton expert. You know, unless you're willing to send her a little tip for coffee or something.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. There's another really great website that's out there, and I'll do that before I get in my books. I'll talk about them, and that's replacements.com. So for those of you who haven't heard of replacements.com, it is a big, huge online selling platform where you have grandma's glass tableware, let's say, and dang it, Uncle Phil just broke your wine glass because he talks with his hands too much, and you want to get another one, and you know the pattern and everything. You can go on there and you can buy them. But it's also really great when you Google Lens it. If replacements comes up, they're right. They will be right pretty much 100% of the time. But it's mainly, I want to say it's mainly tableware kind of stuff, like glasses. And I picked up a set of glasses. Here they are. I'm not selling them today. They're going up on eBay. They're gorgeous. I have a set of 4 of these. I could not figure out who made them. And I don't remember off the top of my head right now, which is really shameful, but I don't. Now, the difference was I had a hard time identifying them because this pattern was very similar. So these are very similar to Tiffin glasses. I know they're not Tiffin. Very, very similar to Tiffin glasses, but there was one little piece, and I think it's this piece right here, that was different. So this was all the same, but this one little bit that just made it different than the other kids. Replacements.com helped me identify that. So that's one good way with using these things. And Claudia is 100% right. Books, 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 books. This is my new favorite one. This is a collector's encyclopedia of books. And what I love about this one is they actually talk about how to identify glass. And there's stuff that we say all the time. Old is opalescent at the edges when it comes to milk glass. Not necessarily true. And she says that. Yes, more than likely it is. But I have a small little, it's a tiny, tiny little white milk glass bowl that has the Ring of Fire around it. But the stamp on the bottom says made in China, which means it's newer. But then I have Victorian pieces don't necessarily have that around the edges, but you'll have the stuff from shortly after that will, and then it goes away in like the 50s. And so that's not necessarily true, but it helps. Old is painted. Yes, and so was new. So old stuff was painted. Well, the new stuff is getting painted too. So these are like the myths that they're debunking in this book, which I think is great. Black light will make old glass fluoresce. Well, she says new custard glass will also, there are other chemicals where also you're going to fluoresce under black light. And she recommends above anything else, picking up the glass and getting used to it. So go to antique stores.
Yes.
Where people have things labeled, you know, then test yourself and you'll be amazed at how you'll be able to pick something out from across the room and go, I know what that is, at a thrift store, and beeline to it. There's so many different patterns. Sometimes you get lucky and the stuff is labeled on the bottom. Another reason why I like this, and this is another thing that it helps you to identify glass. There are some that are online. They're not all online. In this book, they have the old catalogs. So they have the old catalog pages, And it's right from the company. See the Jeanette Glass Company on the bottom. This is called their milk glass. You can find these online and sit down and have a lot of
I
fun.
forgot to mention that. The old
They're a lot of fun.
catalogs is a great way, and a lot of them are online.
Oh, thank you. That's very nice too. This is another book that sometimes we talk about glasses marked on the bottom. Trying to see if I have a piece that's marked on the bottom. I do not. Sometimes we get lucky, we pick stuff up that has stickers on it. Sometimes we get lucky, and companies like Heisey, Westmoreland, Imperial, Libby would mark, Anchor Hocking would mark most, but not all of their stuff. Not all, unfortunately. So let's say you come across a mark you've never seen before. I recommend this one. I think this is $13. $13. I got it off of Amazon. It's totally worth it. It lets you look at not only glass marks, it goes through silver, it goes through gold, it goes through ceramics, dolls, toys.
That's a good reference.
This is a fantastic one.
Becky wants to know who's the author of the Collector's Encyclopedia.
Oh, that one is
the milk glass one?
Betty and Bill Newbound. Betty and Bill Newbound. And in the back, which I thought was fascinating, and I didn't because I just picked this book up not that long ago. In the back of this one, it actually has a history of the different companies, all the different glass companies that were making milk glass. There's a whole little mini paragraph history, which is really, really cool. So these two books are really, really great. This one, especially when you're trying to identify things where you're like, I've never seen that mark before. I've held this one up before. This is another fabulous one. Mid-Century Modern Glass. It has all the companies who have made mid-century glass in here, and it gives you a history. It gives you the artist. It gives you the lines. You know,
I'm on the hunt for that one.
That John bought it for me as a gift. It's fabulous. I have more depression glass books than I can shake. I think I have 4. These are only 2 of them that I have. This one here I like because it gives you the little thumbnail for easy identification. So you can see the little patterns. And what I found, especially with the depression glasses, some people will leave out. Yeah, it is. And that's why I love this little book, because it gives you everything. These here, they'll leave like a pattern out that maybe wasn't as popular, but it was in another one. And so sometimes you need to have more than one of a particular, especially if you're a collector of that brand or that type of glass, you need to have more than one. All right. Because you'll find a different pattern. Now, another way is certain companies will have certain, I'm not selling this Viking piece today, but they'll have certain little something that's special to them. Viking will tend to have, not always, but they do, little petals on the bottom. So that's how you can identify by looking at the bottoms of them, even if they're not marked or don't have their stickers. The pedestals of some of the glass companies are very specific to them. You know, like if you're not sure something's Fenton, you can pretty much tell when something's, I've gotten to the point now where I can tell something is Fenton unless it's some kind of weird Fenton that I've just never, which has happened once or twice, which I've never seen before, and that's awesome. You can tell a lot by Fenton, especially for their baskets. They have the little molded on the side by the artist.
And they have the pointy hobnails.
Yeah, they have the pointy hobnails. So look at the bases of things. And sometimes you can just tell something is a certain company by the color of the glass. Like Viking was very well known for making that blue neck that we all love. So when that happens, you're like, oh, that's Viking. And depression glass can be easier to tell too, because when you have a piece of depression glass, it looks like depression glass. It's just the way I'm going to put it. It looks like it's depression glass. There are certain colors that you're like, I know that's what that is.
It's going to have bubbles. It's
so you're going to know. Yeah. So that'll help too. And when it comes to the difference between new and old carnival glass, I don't have a piece of old with me, but new and old carnival glass, the new stuff looks flash, you know, for the most part, it kind of is. The old stuff has an oily sun in the, you know, bubbles in the sun or oil slick look to it. And we've also talked about the difference in older glass has a drier feel. It doesn't feel slick. It feels like an older piece. So those are some really good tips I can give out on how to identify glass. And like Claudia said, when you see these, especially these older ones, we don't care about the prices. You don't care about, you just want to be able to see
Right.
something and go, oh, that's what that is, so
And
that helps.
sometimes that's why
Yeah,
an antique booth will be getting rid of them, because the prices aren't the same anymore. They're not valid, but
right.
they are still a valid form of identification for glass.
Yeah.
So we aren't looking at the prices that it has listed, because obviously Heisey not selling for $50 right now. I'm not going to charge you $50 for it.
Oh, that's awesome. And here's another thing. This is really weird. I had picked up, and this is the one time I tapped Becky for help, because we were talking about asking people for help. I had picked up a piece of Viking. It was a duo set. I split them up and I've sold them off since to two different people. And it was the pre-Blunique color. And they had Viking stickers on them, but it was unlike any Viking I had ever seen before. And Becky had a hard time identifying them. She was, well, sometimes shady dealers, it doesn't happen often, but does happen, they'll flip flop the stickers. I could not, even with the sticker, identify, even though it said it was Viking, it just didn't look like a Viking piece. So that was really, but I found out that it was probably from their transfer over from when they were New Martinsville glass into Viking. And so it was just slightly different. But I have had success also asking for help on Instagram. So when somebody gets back to you and goes, this is what it is. Okay. So then you type in, okay, this is what that person says it is. And oh, wow, they were right. It's right there. It's actually what it is. So that it does help. You will get people who will jump on that bandwagon and be all the more happy to tell you exactly what that is, when it was made, how much it's worth. You will have it there, and then you'll have other people who will jump on and go, that's not what it is. Believe me, there will be people who want it, who will be more than happy to help you on Instagram. And I know a lot of us don't use Facebook, but there are groups out there on Facebook that do help identify stuff.
Yeah,
And
they're really good groups on
yeah,
Facebook. I don't bring it up because I don't have a Facebook.
I don't
But
either.
hi, Bree. Bree's
Yeah.
back.
But
yeah,
do Facebook.
We nerds love our knowledge. So when
Yeah.
you pop a question on Instagram that we know the answer to,
Yeah.
and can even cite the source, we are all over that because we are nerds.
Yeah. And the best thing, and the probably the biggest thing I will say is be on the lookout for glass shows. I know they don't happen everywhere. I am lucky enough that Mid-Hudson Valley Depression Glass Club, it's a really, really long name. They do a biannual glass show. So I'm lucky enough, I'm part of that group. You might find them in your area. I mean, heck, if I've got one where I live, I'm sure there are tons of different glass groups in other people's areas that you just don't even know exist. So you can maybe try to find one that you could get into. It's a great way to meet people. But more importantly, because we really don't care about that, it's a great way to see glass you've never seen before.
Yeah.
I mean, going to these glass shows, going to these different, and if you're in my area, let me know and I'll tell you where you could go for a couple of really great shows. But it's really worth it to go to the glass shows, to see the stuff, to be tempted to buy stuff, and to realize there you go, Angela. And to realize that the prices that we're offering some of the stuff for here is not the real market. Our prices are so much lower than somebody else in these glass shows. They are demonstratively, I'm talking 3 to 4 times, sometimes more expensive. Not that you won't find deals, because you will, but at least you'll be able to see stuff that you've never seen before.
I love it when Becky's doing a show and she'll go live from her show and she'll slowly pan through. And I'm like, I didn't even know that existed. Like, it's just fantastic.
Yeah. And watch some of the other YouTubers. Becky's got lots and lots of great stuff. Angela, you have to go to these museums and start videoing them.
Yes,
what you have to do for me. Because Angela does live in glass country in West Virginia.
Take us on virtual tours.
Yes. But go and watch some people who go to these glass shows. I think I have one or two posted on my page. Becky's got some posted on her page. I'm sure others that I'm just not thinking of have stuff posted on their page of glass shows that they've been to just because. And you know what? George the Antique Snowman is another great one when he goes to his shows too. It's just a really, great way, an extra way to see the glass. But really, honestly, the best way is to pick it up, to hold it, to feel it, to play with it, to look stuff up.
Just don't pick up the glass knives.
No, don't do that. They're sharp. As we found out at a glass show, they're sharp. It wasn't me for a change who picked it up and said, "Oh, that's sharp." It wasn't me. It was John.
All right. Well, we're a half hour in, so we better get
We're
started.
ready.
I'll let you go first since you're right there.
Okay. All righty.
Hi.
All right. First I have, because I brought a lot of color today because I'm tired of everything being white and brown, which is outside and just gross. So I'm ready for spring, right? Christmas is over, New Year's is over. I'm ready for spring.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Spring.
What's up? So this first piece is my nod to spring. I can't say how old it is. I have no idea how old it is. I've seen there are companies who still make these, but it's just really neat. This is a thistle. And I originally picked it up because of my Scottish ancestry, because Scotland is, the thistle is their national flower, pretty much the only flower that probably grows in Scotland. It is a nice foresty green color, or it's a window catcher. It still has its little, there. It still has this little hanger here, this little thong, and it does work really well. It is really, really, really pretty. Not super big, just normal size. So if you're interested in the little glass thistle piece, it's going to be $8 number 90. $8 number 90. Her cats are so dang cute, aren't they? And sticking with my green theme, this round's a green round. I've shown this before, but this is totally the right time of the season to bring this up. I'm still trying to decide my putting out a little Valentine's decor if I want to do green or do the pastel-y pinks and reds, because green is actually the color of Venus, the goddess of love. So it's one of those little rare known facts. So this little piece is green and it's got all of this mixed in. This is a studio artist who had done this, and I'm trying to read the bottom, and it says 2002, so we are vintage on this. 2000, sorry about the nails, guys. I didn't do them this week. So 2002 up there, and then the artist's name is down there, and it's really, really, really hard to read, but it's a great little bowl. Yellows and whites mixed in there as well. And if you're interested in the art glass piece, it's $12, number 93. $12. Number 93. It is one of my favorite pieces. I do really love it. Just haven't found a home for it yet. Maybe it's because it belongs to somebody else. So those are my two. Thank you very much.
All right. So I guess I'm doing it one-handed today because I have a
You're
baby.
doing one-handed.
So my first piece is going to be the Heisey divided relish dish. It's two-handled. No foot. Sometimes these were made footed. This one is not. And this is the Waverly pattern. And it is from handle to handle, like 7 3/4 inches across, but just from the other end, 6 3/4. But Heisey is did you burp? Now you always got hiccups. But it is that beautiful clear glass that is the Heisey I love so much. Now it's got my fingerprints on it. And it is only going to be $10. $10, number 3. Because of the clarity of these pieces, brooches and jewelry, sparkly things look so good in Heisey glass. So $10, number 3 on that. And then second piece is the one that I showed you earlier. I could not identify the company.
I love this.
These are not uncommon, but this one has no damage to the point here. And it's got this iridescence, just super pretty. Now it does have, the tiniest of flea bites right here. You're not even gonna be able to see it, but you can feel it. but no chips. There's the lid. And then here is
I
no
love it
chips.
for a candy dish.
And it's got a clear base. So it's just really pretty, but it's not super rare, but it's in excellent condition. It's this big and $18, number 10. And thank you, Sheila. I've got you for the Heisey glass. And those are mine too.
I love that piece. It reminds me, it looks like it's striated, like it has like little stripes, almost like a
Yes.
pumpkin. I love that. Okay, so this is my blue rounds. So this guy I've shown before, but it's just so pretty, and I don't know. I might end up by finding a home for him. This is Dagenhart. It is a little salt cellar or salt dip. It is a little bird, and you can see the little bird has a little ball in his mouth or a little bead in his mouth. These came in a variety of colors. I have seen them. There's a black one that I want, and there's a goldeny colored one that I want too, very, very much. I have some blue in my house. I just don't have a ton of blue, but this is just really, really cute. It go mix in really nicely with your Birds of Happiness because this is something a little different. So really pretty little piece, no condition issues whatsoever. And I guess you could maybe use it as a candle holder. If you found those like chunky candles from like the 80s in like your thrift store, you probably could use that. So if you're interested in the little Dagenhart bird, is really, really decorated nicely with his little tail feathers. Why are you not focusing on? There we go. All the little feathers, just the work that went into this mold is fantastic. So if you're interested in the Dagenhart bird, it's going to be $12, number 73. $12, number 73 on that guy. And then my other blue piece, I had bought this a while ago from another reseller, probably well over a year ago. And it came to me being Viking. Now, I'm pretty sure it kind of is, but I don't want to say definitively because I had a hard time finding it. So here we go. It reminds me of a daisy or a flower. It very well could be an ashtray as well. I was using it to hold my chapstick and my jewelry sitting next to me when I felt like taking it all off or when I needed my chapstick. It's a great little trinkety dish. It would also hold a pillar candle. I love the little bubbly beads here on the bottom. This is a very 3D kind of feel to it. The inside on this is all nice and smooth. Like I said, it maybe was an ashtray. Like I could see it being an ashtray, but it doesn't, I don't know. It doesn't feel like an ashtray, if that makes any sense. But it probably could have been. But it's a great little piece. It's a piece that is in the same color range as Blue Neat, which is why I do have a chapstick addiction. You have no idea. I have them in every single room, especially during this time of the year, because
Me too.
it's horrible. Going from the cold air to the dry forced heat, I have a massive chapstick. I have like 2 different chapsticks sitting next to me as it is. You found me out, Melbert. It's my addiction. So here we go. The cute little Blue Neat daisy-shaped ashtray trinket dish. I use it as a trinket dish. $12, number 75. $12, number 75, and it's not very big. It's a nice little small one. Hey, it's Steph. Hey,
Hi, Steph.
and I got you for that one. Okay. All right. That's my 2.
So I have blue also, and it's a little salt and pepper shaker. These were made in Japan.
I
This
love
one, the
these.
sticker is worn, but this one shows Japan. Now the metal, not in the best of shape. On this one, it's in better shape on this one. So, but the cobalt blue is super, super pretty. And these are little ones. I have cat hair stuck to me everywhere since he did that. 2¼ inches. So they're just itty bitty, but so cute. If you like the blue
I have a
glass.
feeling Cobalt might be making a comeback. I don't know. I got this 90s thing coming that I think it's going to be coming back.
So for the pair, $10, number 9. One still has its Japan sticker. one is worn. But $10, number 9 on those. And then
I
I
love
say
those.
Sheila for that.
They're
Am I
awesome.
saying that right?
Yep. Number 9, Sheila.
Awesome. And then just as a reminder, I invoice at the end of the week. You'll always get your invoice before midnight Sunday night. Because this week I have my regular sale Wednesday morning, and then I will be on Tigers Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern. And
Hey,
next
Geneva.
week I will be on Bridget's channel. Hi, Geneva. So my next one is this tiny, sweet little bud vase. But look at this. I could not identify it, but it's just so sweet. No chips, no cracks. It is 5 3/4, so it's not even 6 inches tall. And what it reminded me of was the car vases. It's not, because it would have a different bottom, but that's what it made me think of when I saw it, was the car vases. So nice and clean, no issues with it. Just a itty bitty little perfect. I just love it. Everything about it. I just love it.
Yeah.
It's glass, not crystal, but it does pick up the light really well because of the pattern on it. So glass, not crystal, so it's not like
It's very prismatic. I have this piece as well, and it's exceptionally, like, just leaving that alone in the windowsill would be beautiful. Yeah.
If you've got sunlight coming in, yeah.
Yeah.
$8, number 13. $8, number 13 for my little bud vase. And that's my 2.
Okay, this is my pink round. I got pink because we got Valentine's Day coming up, and spring and Easter, and I'm not a huge Pink fan, but sometimes, well, I love the singer, I should say that. But sometimes I really am drawn to some things that are pink, and we pick them up when we find them. So this is Viking. This is a newer Viking piece. All right. This, once again, identification. We talked about it. Look at, it's got the little petals. So this is a piece from probably the 80s or the 90s. Probably the 80s when we did the pink. See the petals on the bottom of that one? This is a piece from the Epic line. You can see the little petals. Then we do an identification, figured I'd show. So they didn't change that. Yeah, sometimes you just get in that, mood. So it is a handkerchief vase. It has I love messing with these. And it's frosted satin glass. It does have some little wear issues that just might be sticky goos that I just couldn't necessarily get off. I don't know. I could be wrong. But there's a little bit I could feel on the inside right in here. There it is, right there. There's a little bit of sticky goose. But I thought for Valentine's Day, it's very soft, it's very sweet, and I really love it. Hey, Rebecca. So if you're interested in these satin finish, and it is a very pale pink, very, very pale pink. My light is making it look like it's two-toned. It's not two-toned. It's going to be $16, number 87. $16, number 87 for the Viking piece. And staying with my pink, this is I like depression pink. That is one of my favorites. This is a Manhattan pattern. Really, really, these are not easy to find. I like the Manhattan pattern because it does have that like modern look to it. And look at those feet. Hey, Bonnie. We love good feet here. They've got the tri-footed little ball feet on the bottom. And it is just a little open candy dish. And the pale pink. And this is a little bit more pink than some of the depression pink, because you can actually see it. Sometimes we show depression glass that's in the pink and you can't tell that it's pink. You just have to trust us that we say it's pink. So one of my favorites, this would, oh my goodness, some bonbons in this would look awesome. Some little special Valentine's candy that you bought for yourself because you earned it. There's nothing wrong with self-love. We talked about some of that last week. Claudia's mom inspired me so much. I'm hashtagging everything sparkle now. You have to tell her that. I'm hashtagging everything sparkle. All right, so if you're interested in the Manhattan 3-footed bowl, it's going to be $12, number 85. $12, number 85, and that's my pink round.
And we didn't plan this, but I have something pink too. Mine's pink
and black. Oh my God, we're on a roll.
And hello to everyone that just came in. Welcome, welcome. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up. I have a pair of Hazel Atlas, pink and black. Aren't these fantastic?
I love
When I
these so
started, when I
much.
looked these up and realized how much they went for, I was like, "Ooh,
Yeah.
that was a good get." So the pattern is in super good shape. The gold on top is worn. So there is still gold, but it's worn. You can see where it's worn. So the pattern on the outside, really, really good shape. Gold has wear. And it has the HA on the bottom, right above my finger,
I
right
know
there.
everything that Claudia was bringing today, I was drooling over when I saw the post on Instagram. These especially. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
see, that's how I do pink.
The pink and black that I
The
just
pink
love.
and black.
The Hazel Atlas did the pink and black flowered. I have a set of, I think, 8 of those in my personal collection, but I had never seen these before. And from looking them up, they appear to be more hard to find. So
Yeah.
for the pair of Hazel Atlas pink and black, I'm going to call it crown. I couldn't identify the actual
Yeah,
name
because
of the pattern.
that's what it looks like, a crown or Christmas
Yeah,
trees.
but I'm going to call it crown.
Yeah.
It is $20, number 18. $20, number 18 for the pink and black Hazel Atlas glasses. There are 2 of them. Yee! Bumping
Cheers.
things. Bumping things again. All right. And my next piece. Oh my goodness. I
And I'll
love
tell
this,
you all,
you guys.
she wouldn't be selling it if I didn't already own it. I would have already bought this if I didn't already own it.
Look at that. Look
Oh,
at
I
that.
love it.
So this is the large compote. This came in 2 sizes. This is the large.
Yeah.
And it is 7¼ inches tall, and it is 7½ inches wide at its widest ruffle to ruffle. And it's got this thumbprint pattern. It's Fenton, of course it is. It's not marked, so it's before 1970, but it's gorgeous. I picked this up at the antique store. There are no chips. There are no cracks. It's a beauty.
It
I
is. And
love
it
it.
works great as a candy dish. I'm just saying. That's what mine's
Yeah.
holding candy.
It's got a nice wide bowl. You've got
Yeah.
a nice amount of candy space there.
Hey, Sam.
$30, number 5. Hi, Sue. $30, number 5. And those are my 2.
And mine's very special to me because it was one of the last things, if not the last thing, that Chris Roselli had bought mine for me and had it sent to me. So it's super special to me. So I love it. But it is gorgeous and awesome. We know I like my black glass because black glass is not all that common to find. Neither is purple. So I have some purple glass. I've shown this one before. So this is a smaller one. This is from the 90s. This is the Empress pattern. So you can see it has a different little ribbing right here. Okay. Fenton all the way. And it does have its little stamp down there. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it to read in there, but its little stamp is down there that this is a Fenton piece. And this is a smaller one. You can see next to my head, it's definitely a smaller piece. But I just thought Claudia had brought up mixing in pastels for different holiday decor, like Valentine's Day. And I loved that idea of putting the pink and the purple in together. I thought that was really pretty, even with some light blues. So cute, sweet little piece of Fenton from the 90s, $15, number 91. $15, number 91 on the Empress pattern, which this was one that I actually had a hard time identifying. I knew it was Fenton because Fenton does the rufflies, right? They do the little ruffles that were already, I know she does, that are already all fluffed out like that. But it was the pattern that I'd never seen. So sometimes you get lucky looking stuff up online, like we talked about, and you find what the pattern is, because that's a newer one. So this is my mixed color round. So that was my purple. My next one is my oyster and pearl nappy in the ruby. Ruby is not an easy, ordinary color you find in depression glass. It is a lot harder to find. It is a lot more scarce. But this particular pattern was done in clear and in ruby. I think it was done in uranium. I don't think it was done in yellow. It was only done in like 2 or 3 colors, but the ruby one is gorgeous. I love this.
Rebecca's going to take your purple Fenton.
Okay, you got it, Miss Rebecca. Thank you. Didn't even see that.
That is a beautiful piece.
It's an awesome piece. Okadokis. So, oyster and pearls. I love this piece. It was made in the mid to late 30s. It was only made for a couple of years. I love the red. Hey, Bridget. So really pretty to have out now. I see little sweet tarts in this, those little candies that, the I love you and be mine, and or the naughty ones, those work too. My mom and her friends, when they were younger, and they didn't think we understood what it meant, but we all did. We need to make Jolly Raunchies, not Jolly Ranchers, Jolly Raunchies, and then put little raunchy sayings on them. Yay, Mom. Taught a lot about her today. I had a quirky mom. So if you're interested in the piece of ruby red, and it's very goth too, but very lovely, it's going to be $12 and number 89. $12, number 89, and those are my two.
All right, so now I'm going to have some very marked down pieces because I am still continuing to clear out some of my older stuff. Some of the things were my personal collection. So the Sunbeam Mixmaster Juicer attachment.
Nice.
When I picked this up, was thinking, well, I'll put this on eBay. I'm not going to do an eBay at this point in time. And it takes up a nice amount of space. So this is the Sunbeam Mixmaster juicer.
You know what I thought that was the first time I saw one, Claudia? In the antique store. I thought it was some yep. I did. I thought it was some kind of hospital at-home invalid thing. Yep.
Now, if it had the attachment pieces, it would be worth way more. But even at the price I'm selling it at today, which is probably marked down, you still might be able to make some money off of it if you have an eBay store. I do not have an eBay store. So
no, Becky, it doesn't. Just answering the question, doesn't.
Yeah, Becky, usually things when we say ruby, it means there's no cadmium glow at all.
Yeah.
We like to use the word amberina, even if it looks mostly red, if there's any kind of cadmium glow. It's kind of how we do things. I think a lot of people do. If they say ruby, there's not going to be any cadmium glow in it at all, generally. So the attachment is just $6. $6, number 11. $6, number 11.
You could have some fun with this as a planter too. You really, really could. I really think you could have some fun with it as a planter.
And then this piece had been in my personal collection, and it is hand blown. It has a rough pontil here, and it has a lot of uncontrolled bubbles in it. So I don't know if it was a student piece, but I had this for the longest time, and I had crystals in it.
There's something about student pieces. What color is that? Is it a green?
It's a green.
Okay.
But it's not quite emerald green, and it's not quite, maybe it's like a pine green.
All right.
But yeah, it's a green, because I collected green glass when I had display room. So it's just a piece from my personal collection. And it too is just going to be $6. $6, number 6. $6, number 6.
I think I think that'd be great with apples or glass fruit, a way to display them, because it's like so see-through.
Yeah.
That it would be a lot of fun for like all those weird little fruits, the wood fruits, or real fruits. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we call it amberina. If it glows on the top, and maybe next week I'll bring my big piece of amberina. That's the cadmium when it has that in it. And there's cadmium yellow, cadmium orange, and cadmium red. If you're an artist, those are regular colors. Go ahead, flip. Yeah.
This piece, it looks red, but it's got cadmium in it. So I do not identify this as ruby because it's got cadmium, and bits of this will glow orange under a black light. So if I call a piece ruby, it has got no cadmium in it whatsoever.
But
And
usually what
often
it does have, what does it have?
gold.
It'll
And
have gold
often the
in the color.
companies called it ruby. That was the color it was with
Yeah,
no cadmium in it. They labeled their red as
red.
ruby. So
Yeah,
that's why we go by that. Other
yeah,
resellers may not, but
yeah, yeah. And when we say gold, we mean real gold. In the
yeah.
paint color of the ruby, there will be real gold, which is why real red glass, not flash glass, is more expensive than and more sought after than some of
And
your other
more
colors.
harder to find too.
Yeah,
That ruby.
yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when you're talking about a piece that came from the depression era that was in the 30s, and you put gold in it in the paint mix. Okay. All right. So next up, I have a little piece of carnival glass. This is 70s repop carnival glass. It's a little tiny bud vase, and it's an ombre, which I love. So it's much darker at the top, and then as you go down, it starts to fade down, so it gets clear, and then the base is totally clear. So we've got a 2-line mold there. And this is a smaller one. It's not one of the huge ones. It's 10 inches. That's what she said. And it's really lovely little piece. I like the marigold in the 70s. I'm not a huge fan of the marigold color in the older pieces. I'm always looking for the greens and the black amethyst. But when it comes to the 70s pieces, the marigold pieces, in my opinion, are the best color as opposed to the greens and the blacks and the blues, because the iridescence just kind of seems to go. It reminds me of a sunset. So that's why I like the marigold color. So it would go very nicely with Claudia's really pretty candy dish. They'd be a nice little duo. And I cannot tell you who made this. It's just, there's no mark on the bottom. There's not even a pattern on the bottom to take a wild stab at it.
It
Swung vases
really
like
is similar to the candy dish, isn't
it
it?
is in the color and everything. It'd be so fun. So it could be from that line there. I don't know. Oh, so if you're interested in this, I hold up the right card. Yep, it'll be $15, number 74. $15, number 74. There we go. For the piece of 70s carnival. And my last piece, now I'm not gonna, this is hefty, but this is Wexford. And I found this. I used replacements to identify this. Thank you, replacements. That helps. So this is a Wexford piece. It is gorgeous. It is huge. It is very big. Here, I'll hold it up there. Really pretty centerpiece bowl, I thought, anyways. It does have a nice little ring when I just flick it with my finger there. We've got kind of a quilted diamond point on the top bands, and then the diamond points get bigger as we go down. They remind me of chunks of ice. It is just a gorgeous, gorgeous piece. It is hefty, I'm not gonna lie, but I think if you have this, I don't have table space. I have very limited table space, or I would be keeping this and displaying this because it is just so pretty. So prismatic. So if you're interested in this piece, it's going to be $30, number 78. $30, number 78 on this. And I will tell you, when I ship out stuff that weighs heavier, hey, Edward, especially here on YouTube, because I can do it this way, I get the cubic shipping rate. It makes all the difference in the world. So those are my last two. Thank you very much.
All right. So now I'm going to do this one-handed again because the baby is back. I have the Anchor Hawking Star and Cameo Medallion green glass bowl. This one has a chip. This is another piece that was in my personal collection. So the chips, there's 2 little chips right here. And it does have utensil marks in it. So it was used to serve green beans, I'm going to guess. Or maybe Jell-O salads. It is only $6, number one. $6, number one. And then my last item of the day is going to be a super fantastic deal because it is Blanco.
Oh
and
my
it is
God, I
this
love this piece.
massive ashtray. It does have some chipping around it.
And now he's done.
It was definitely used, but It's massive. It's as
Yeah.
big as my head. It is 10 inches. 10 inches. So green glass, Blanco, heavy ashtray. I have marked this all the way down to $6, you guys. This is a fantastic deal. You are absolutely going to pay more for shipping than you pay for the item. But if you have ever wanted to own a piece of Blanco, and I used this one for different displays over the last couple of years. I have displayed all kinds of things in here. It was great at Christmas with Christmas ornaments in it. I have had a ton of brooches in it. So if you've got small things you want to display, this is great for that. If you and your entire family of 20 smoke a lot, this is also great for that. It is big. $6, number 7. $6, number 7 for the Blanco ashtray.
It is huge.
And let me change the layout.
And I just want to say one last thing on identification, guys. When you have the books, the other great thing is it not only shows you, it'll name the pattern, but it'll also help you identify what the devil it was used for. Because what the devil was it used for? Do you know what I mean? And I've shown it a couple of times, and now it is in my bathroom. It's on its permanent home. It is holding my makeup brushes. I kept saying you could use it as a toothbrush holder. You could use it as a planter. Last week I was selling it as a duo. It was my Westmoreland paneled grape piece that I just couldn't figure out what the devil it was for. Do you know that was an open sugar dish? That's what it was usually sold for. Yep.
Westmoreland made the biggest sugar dishes.
It was the weirdest shaped sugar. It was this column, and it was. I said, oh, it's got to be like a plant or something. Nope, it was an open. So not only you'll find out like what they use for something, like who uses like berry bowls. What's a nappy dish?
And
you know
why? Why are there so many different relish dishes? Like was relish served at every single meal in the 1930s? Like you needed 15 different kinds of relish dishes.
And it's just the way that they labeled things. Like sometimes you'll find out what a piece was actually intended for. So get those books, go out and look at stuff and touch stuff. And if you have any questions on identifying stuff, you can always send us pictures. And if we don't know, we can ask somebody else for you. So don't be afraid to use us as a resource as well. Because we're not always right. You know, we're not. There have been times I've had a piece that I swore was this. I'm like, no, I know it's this. And it wasn't.
Yep.
And it wasn't. So it happened.
I have done the same thing.
Yeah, it happened. Boy, and one of the pieces I sold last week, I was like, oh, this is Indiana or whatever I thought it was. And Westmoreland, nope, it was Indiana. I was very, very wrong. Very wrong. But it happens. Sometimes it's the pattern that throws you. And sometimes so many companies did the same pattern that we just are going to tell you.
And as we talked about extensively last year, when companies were bought out by other companies or a particular glass maker left and went to a different company and then reproduced this pattern in a different company. So sometimes you really can't identify. So hopefully the tips and hints that we gave you today can help you. It's not so much important to identify it if you're not like selling it as something specific. But if you like to know, like, oh, he's being a bad cat. If you like to know, like we do, what it is that you have an idea. But if it's for your personal collection, it's not that big of a deal, especially at the prices we sell at. But if you are buying a $300 piece to add to your collection, you want to know that the person has identified it correctly. You want to do your own research. So that's why research is important, and knowing how to do the research is important.
Because trust me, even if you go to antique stores, now I'm going to say 85% of the time, most antique stores are right. But there's room for wiggle room in there, because I've picked up pieces where I'm like, they mislabeled this. This is not this. This is this. Or they have no idea. I've got, and I have to show you guys show it off, a Dugan from the turn of the century, 18 to 1900s, uranium glass vase that was listed as green vase that I picked up for $1.50. I kid you not. So They're not always right in antique stores either. I'm just letting you know. They had no idea that it was A, uranium, B, how old it was, or C, who the devil made it. It was just listed as a green vase. Yeah.
Yep.
So,
So
yeah.
it helps to have a little bit of your own knowledge, which is why we say feel the glass.
Yeah.
You will start to get a feel, and you will see me at Dollar Tree walk down the dollar aisle or the glass aisle and feel the glasses and goblets just to keep my fingers feeling stuff.
Even the new stuff, I have really lovely hand-blown, lead-free Italian crystal wine glasses. They're plain. They feel like if you breathed on them or you just squeezed a little too hard, they would fracture in your hand, and they will fracture in your hand.
Yeah.
Be careful. So you can go from something as delicate as that to something as chunky monkey as some Victorian milk glass, or crystal, real crystal. It is all in. It's all in.
I thrifted a set of 4 crystal champagne goblets, wine glass flutes, whatever, at Betty's flea market that I always go to for my daughter for Christmas. And I could tell, I pulled them up, they were filthy, covered in grease, but I could tell they were good crystal. And I couldn't identify them. I went through everything, replacements.com. I found companies that had just a little bit of a different at the end of the flute, but couldn't identify them. But I know they're good ones just by the feel of it.
Yeah.
And she loved them. And because I picked them up at the flea market, I'm like, if you drop and break it, it's fine. You don't have to be upset about it. Just throw it away.
And there will be books like the Milk Glass Collector's Encyclopedia that I showed you. She had, or they, because they were a married couple, had pictures where they were like unknown who made it, but this is when it comes from. And I have a Carnival glass book that says the same thing. This is old school antique Carnival glass, but they don't even know who made it. So there are going to be times when you just got to go, and it's okay not to know. It eats me away sometimes, but it is okay not to know. You just admit, I don't know who made it. I just think it's pretty. And that's okay.
All right. Well, Nikki is still on break from Whatnot, so she will see you back here next Monday on my channel again. And I have my coffee chat on Wednesday where I will be giving you guys the new prompt for our altered book project and selling some stuff. And then Thursday I'll be on Tiger. So we'll see you guys later.
Bye everyone. Have a great week.